The final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job. That is why we want to do so as fast as possible. Take the false charge of genocide. Would a country committing genocide plead with the civilian population it is supposedly targeting to get out of harm's way? Would we tell them, get out, if we want to commit genocide? We're trying to get them out. And Hamas is trying to keep them in. And this charge is so baseless. This week, the leaders of France, Britain, Australia, Canada, and other countries unconditionally recognized a Palestinian state. Well, I have a message for these leaders. When the most savage terrorists on earth are effusively praising your decision, you didn't do something right. You did something wrong.
Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the most controversial and polarizing leaders to come to this high-level week. I watched the whole speech live, and there was such a stark contrast between the General Assembly floor, where member states speak. That was half empty, with some member states walking out of the room as he started his speech, and the reaction from the gallery, and that was full of supporters of Israel, and at every point that they could, they clapped and gave the Prime Minister a standing ovation. He really began the speech by framing Israel's position as a country under attack. He touted Israel's achievements of devastating Iran's nuclear program. He said, "We removed an existential threat to Israel and the world." That particular line got a very big applause. Prime Minister Netanyahu did not speak to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza that's been acknowledged by a majority of the member states here at the United Nations, including by Secretary General Antonio Guterres. In fact, Prime Minister Mark Carney said in that statement before recognizing a Palestinian state that what spurred Canada to make that recognition is because of that crisis spiraling out of control. However, Prime Minister Netanyahu did say Israel's military is sticking to a ratio of combatants to civilian deaths that is in line with warfare. And again, there was a lot of underscoring in this speech that Israel is a country at war, defending themselves and trying to free the hostages. Prime Minister Netanyahu did not mince words in attacking those countries that have recognized the Palestinian state. He quite simply said, "You caved," that this is not conducive to what he feels would bring peace to the region. In fact, towards the end of this speech, he said defeating Hezbollah and defeating Hamas is what would bring peace to the region.